Alright, I'm going to make a video so my family knows how to set up the generator if in case I'm not home in a power outage. So the first step is going to be, it's going to be dark out here because power is going to be out. So turn the flashlight on and then open the door. There's two latches. And then on the outside, I'll switch to that view. Alright, so on the outside, once the door is open, lift up the handle, roll it toward the edge. You'll have to lift up just a little bit to clear the threshold. Keep coming, set the wheels down. The backside will go over that threshold also. And then boom, it's out on the driveway. Alright, next up at the panel on the wall, open it up. There's going to be one breaker listed for water heater breaker. Just trip that one. And then we'll go work on the generator hookup. Okay, on the generator side, to lower the handle, just pull out the little stop there. That'll go down. Lift up this plug, pull this out. We're not going to use it for this situation. And then we'll get the cable to hook up to the socket. Alright, this is the end of the cable that goes to the generator. One of the legs has a little lug on there that will match up to the connector on the generator. Once you plug it in, you'll do a half turn to the right. That'll lock it in. Alright, here's how it plugs in. That one special lug will be down toward the bottom. Stick it in, half turn to the right, and that's that. Next step is going to be plugging into the socket on the wall. Okay, this is the side that plugs into the wall outlet. It does have that special lug on one side. So I'm going to stick that in. This one does not do a quarter turn to the right. It just plugs in, and that's that. All right, next step. All right, now we're at the point where we're getting ready to start the generator. First step on this is the fuel valve. Turn this all the way around. It'll be pointing at the bottom. Then the next step will be the starter button. The switch here, we're going to hit the button and wait for it to start. And once it's running, I'm going to turn this fuel valve to the run position. And it's idling right now. Okay, the next step is at the panel again in the garage. Now I'm going to simulate this, but I'm not actually going to be throwing the switches because the house is still powered by outside power. And so the next step would be this bottom switch. This is the main power to the house. Power is going to be off, so I would slide this all the way over. So the switch is here, it would end up over here. What that will cause is this plate here will drop down a little bit, and it will make access to this switch here, which this is the generator input. Usually it's in the off position because we're getting power from outside. In this case, we're tripping the main power switch over. This drops down, and then we're going to turn on this last connector. Obviously earlier we turned off the water heater. You just want to double check before you do this that the water heater is off. So in case you skip that step first, this is the last point where you need to have that turned off. So it would be switch off and then switch on. There we go to the same position. This would turn it off. This would turn that one on. And then the house will be powered by the generator. Everything's going to work, air conditioning, all the power. You could use everything in the house except for the oven. And the water heater will stay hot for hours, so there shouldn't be any problem with that. for demonstration purposes, I have the generator close to the house, but I would actually have that about 15 to 20 feet away from the house. The cord's long enough for that, but just for demonstration purposes, I've started it this close. All right, that should be it. Take care.